Have you ever wondered what goes on in the mind of an interviewer? What are the parameters that you are being judged on? Is it your technical skill or is it your attitude? What are the qualities that you can work on to help get the dream job? We have with us today Mr. Prajakt Despande, VP Software Development Oracle, to share with us some insights on what industry wants.
So what does industry want today? So if you are looking at why do we hire, from a industry perspective, it is looking at two key aspects. One is soft skills and technology, essentially the expertise. So both are very important because just having one of them doesn't make you to be a successful engineer today in any company you go. So they require both. You should be able to communicate, you should be able to set up expectations, you should be able to share your thoughts within the team. So that means confidence, body language, everything, right? At the same time, you should have solid technical skills as well. So you should make sense. It's just not about marketing and just wearing nice dress or just walking confidently or just going with your flair, but actually what you talk also matters, because the very next moment you will be challenged. So what you speak within the team meetings, what are the solutions that you're offering, those will be challenged. And at that point in time, if you don't have confidence, if you are not done your groundwork, you will find yourself lacking and then losing respect within the team. So essentially the key message that I wanted to give you is that you have to have both soft skills as well as technology, both, to succeed in the long term. So this is your biggest asset. So why do we hire? Why do we hire freshers? Right? Motivations for us would be like, they are like an empty box. Okay? That's the key motivation we have got, is that we can just tell them, we can just give them a problem and we know that they are just going to get cracking at that problem without having any bias. Is it a good work? Is it a bad work? Or whatever it is, we just are waiting for us to give you a problem, and then you are just working on that problem. That's the biggest motivation that we have got. Why do we hire freshers? So I think your biggest asset is you are an empty box, okay, and then the companies would love to actually start filling that empty box. So you should have like an open mind. Don't have any preconceived notions whether QA is the right job or dev is the right job, documentation, whatever, technical support, anything. Just go with the open mind and then see if there's any learning. So first 2 to 3 years of your career, if you just focus on learning, you will just see that your career is just shaping up very well. So just focus on learning. Don't worry about salary. Don't worry about, of course, money and salary also matters, but at that point in time, don't crib about, that guy is getting 2,000 more. How many learning opportunities you are going to create for yourself? That's the key. Since you don't know anything much about and the expectations are very low, so you are setting up the expectation. Nobody is just setting up an expectation for you. You are just setting up the expectations for yourself. So you start from zero, and that's the best position to go up. Anything you do, you are just going to go up. Okay. So I think never feel in a perspective that, or never feel like underconfident. Just go and just focus on learning, and that's, I think, is your biggest asset. And as you grow, you will have your biases. And as the box starts filling, then you start thinking, hey, what should I put in this box, right? Because as 7 years down the line, you'll say, no, this is not my kind of work. This is something. So you start getting your biases, your likes and dislikes. That's very natural. That's very human. But at the beginning of your career, just think like, okay, just focus on learning. Just focus on getting opportunities, whether it's a startup company, whether it's a big company. Startup companies are dream to learn. But yeah, financial security is a key thing that you would like to focus on. But otherwise, from a learning perspective, startup companies are dream to one. So all through my career right now, Oracle is the only company which is big from day one. Otherwise, like Cernova was very small. Virtusa, in fact, I was 135th employee or something like that, at least in India. So they are a dream to work. So what are the attributes? Now I will focus on what are the attributes we look at in a fresher, right? So one of the key attributes we look at is energy and enthusiasm. Is he self-motivated? Is he interested? When I throw a problem at it, does it come back to me? The guys who shine and get more and more problems to be assigned is who show a lot of energy, who show a lot of enthusiasm. You know what, I tried this didn't work. Yeah, I tried this approach, this didn't work. Then finally I read this and finally it worked. You know what, now it is working. Now if you are very dull or you are not into it, or you don't know what the team is doing, what is the problem you are trying to solve, then automatically the lead is going to feel that, you know what, this guy is not interested and is just chilling out here. And other attributes we look for definitely is persistence. So a lot of times which we find, and that's where at least I get put off a lot of times, is that, hey, I've given you a problem and then you just are sitting on it, and it's like I have to follow up. Okay, what happened? Oh, Prajakt, I tried this, I didn't. Did you try something else? No, I was waiting, nobody told me what to do. Okay, fine. Then, so that's one of the key attributes I think you should focus on, is be persistent, keep trying. I mean, nobody is expecting you to solve the problem. I think most of the times if you're just sitting and working on the problem, let's say for 10 hours, 8 hours, and it's going to get solved. We are not in a time where there's a lack of information or lack of help or anything. So ask for help. Okay, I've tried this, it did not work, what should I do next? Okay, you will get directions. You are not going to be just thrown in water and asked to swim, but you will get directions. But the key thing is be persistent. If I don't give up, I learn through the way. A lot of times my learning, what I have realized is, I mean, it will just lead from one space to another space, and I will get introduced to a lot of learning through it. For example, let's say, I still remember in Batusa, there was an application development issue where some exception was coming. So we started with that exception, why is it coming? But, oh, then you need to install Tomcat to actually, so okay, now install Tomcat. Oh, first you need to access Linux box and learn some administration. So a lot of learning happened, not actually, by the time we reached the solution, it was like, okay, probably a 2 weeks time, but a lot of learning happened through the way, and that's the fun. So the journey is, a lot more times you will find that the journey is much more interesting than actually the problem itself. Be a problem solver. So another key aspect that we look at is be a problem solver. Is the guy who is looking for solutions? Is it the guy who is just, or is he the guy who is just posing questions after questions after questions and not looking for answers to those questions? So always you have to be in a mode that you are a problem solver and not just posing questions. So what does discipline mean? Discipline is, we are not looking at a school principal kind of a discipline wherein we expect you to come in uniform and nicely polished shoes or socks or whatever that means, right? The discipline means, okay, Prajakt, you gave me a problem. You were expecting this problem to be solved by 5 p.m. What's happening? Okay, do I come at 5 p.m. and tell you that the problem is not solved? Or do I come at like 4 p.m. and say, you know what, Prajakt, I'm not going to meet this. Now help me out. Is this very critical for you at 5 p.m.? What can we do here? So that kind of discipline is very, very important. Do I need to follow up with you a lot? If the person has to follow up with you, you should immediately sense that the boss is not, or the leader is not happy with you. I was expecting a mail to be sent from you by 9 p.m. so that I can get back to the customer at about 10 p.m. and you never sent me a mail. What happened? I mean, there's a black hole, or you never kept me informed. So that's a little bit of discipline that we need to follow. Second aspect is timing. I mean, typically, at least in IT, you don't expect a lot of times to be at 9:30 in the office and leave by around 5:30. There are flexi timings almost everywhere. But a lot of times you have to adjust your timings along with your teammates, right? So discipline is also very key, where you are working along with the team, and any time commitments or any expectations that you have set up, or a lot of times somebody is not going to come and tell you that, you know what, hey, I need this response by 6 p.m. You are in a meeting and everybody, and there's a general consensus that, yeah, we need to get back to the customer by 7 p.m. You have to internally form that, you know what, I need to, if this guy is supposed to get back to the customer at 7 p.m., that means I need to have a solution at around 5:30 p.m. or something like that. So you will find a lot of times in the corporate world, or when you go into companies, nobody is going to spoon feed you. Nobody is going to tell you that, you know what, at 4 p.m., okay, you are on the job. Sometimes people will do, but a lot of times you have to sense what is happening and react to that sense. So if you are not doing that, then people will, hey, I was in a meeting. I told you that I need to get back to the customer at about 7 p.m. Well, should I give you, and like, so if that person starts giving individual time commitments to everybody, then he's just sending mails and doing nothing. So a lot of times you have to sense what's happening around you, and you have to make sure that you are aligned to it.
Wow, what an interesting session on soft skills. Self-motivation, energy, persistence and discipline. But as you saw, Mr. Prajakt Despande mentioned that soft skills is not the only part of it. It has to be coupled along with the right technical skills to get through that interview. In the next video, we'll see what Mr. Prajakt Despande has to say about the same. Please don't forget to subscribe for more interesting videos coming up on our series, What Industry Wants.